Hey guys, Mike here from Lunch Money Comics. Today I'm at a very special comic book event. I'm at the monthly CliffCon, happens every month down in Connecticut, but this one's different. This is one of the big ones in the huge DoubleTree Hotel, and it's actually on a Friday night. And here's the thing, everyone evidently wants to go because this place is absolutely packed. So let's go inside and see what we can find. Hey Bob, thanks a lot for this. Give it to my daughter. I really appreciate that. All right, so I'm here with Mark. What's going on, buddy? And I noticed a book on his shelf that I've been looking for. First Cable, he had $150 on it, and what will you sell for me for?
I'll give it to you for $80.
$80, guys. How can I say no, man? How can I say no? Thanks a lot.
No problem. Anytime,
Awesome,
man.
thanks, buddy. Wow, what an awesome deal I just got on that. Crazy. It is absolutely packed in here. How much do you have on those Dr. Dooms? Bottom there.
140 and 150.
That's cool.
Yeah, some really good stuff in here. X-Men 1, Daredevil 1, GSX.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that's sharp, man. That's pretty good. Yeah, let me grab that. Thank you. Who's this guy right here?
What's up, Mike?
What's going on?
I got a show
Hey, we're a couple of nerds again. Always filming each other.
across the stream. So this will be good content.
Oh yeah? What is this large format? That's pretty cool. This is all the chapters.
What are we looking at, Michael? What do we got?
This is the consolidated all 5 chapters of the Rocketeer. Pretty awesome. So yeah, if you want to read the entire original Rocketeer story, it's all consolidated in one book here.
Ooh, got the Betty Page.
You get the Betty Page too. Oh, I have never seen this book in person.
Oh, you missed it.
Never.
You missed half of the other good stuff.
See, that's the one I would have got out of your pile there.
Now, I'm going to show you something.
All right, what else?
It's a Greeting Dave Stevens card.
Yep. Oh, that is cool. Where did that come from?
It's a Dave Stevens holiday greeting card.
What did it come out of? Did it come out of a...
He sold them as is.
You sold them as is? What's on the back? Oh, I've never seen that before, ever. That's awesome.
Ben with the snipe.
Another cool card. Man, I don't know how you find this stuff. Carlos, can I see that Dead Man foreign comic right there? Very cool. Oh, it's a big one.
The original one is a blue cover.
And we got Dave from Bell City Comics. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Mike,
good to see
how
you.
are you?
I am good. Busy, huh?
It is busy. I'm selling all these toys. It's great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, it's not just a comic show, it's a toy show. So, and this guy likes his toys. That came out weird.
Appreciate what you do.
All right,
Can
so
I
what-
offer you something? And if you have it, say you don't want it. Do you have that? If not, it's yours.
do not have it.
It's too big for me to store. It's just annoyingly large. It's fascinating, but I thought someone that appreciates Claremont Byrne
Come on.
would get a kick out of it.
I do. That's a manly handshake. I gotta look at this.
You got it. You got it.
Thank you so much. This is amazing.
Came in a collection, and I thought, you know what? If I ever see Mike from Lunch Money Comics, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give him the damn thing.
Dude, you know what's crazy? Like, this is actually the stuff I could collect.
Show it again. Show it again.
It's a summary of X-Men 111 through 128, so most of the Byrne Claremont run.
Which you can't stand Claremont, right? It's you hate Claremont. It's your
Yeah, I hate him. He's the
worst.
worst.
I wish that guy.
So Scott found something else he thought I would like. It's this X-Men Chronicles, which I've never seen before. The magazine for X-Men fans. Doesn't even look like it was, Fantico Enterprises. So I'm not exactly sure what this is. Central Avenue, Albany. Ugh. Bizarre, yeah, and it's got like a history of X-Men with some goofy pictures of Magneto and other characters. So bizarre. I have to have this. There he is. So what do we have? I don't know why I'm looking at X-Men books here. Wait a minute, I need an upgrade for that. Not to be sold. You can't sell this, sir.
That came from a collection of a guy that used to live next to a Marvel artist in the 80s. He doesn't remember the guy's name, but the artist used to get complimentary books, give them to him as a kid, and he had them until he sold his collection. So a handful of them were stamped like complimentary copy or not for sale.
Who was the artist?
He was a Conan artist. The guy didn't remember his name.
I want to get cheap books today, so I need the change. There you go, Ben. Enjoy that.
Loving it.
And I got first Morlocks and an upgrade in my Claremont run because my other one's like falling apart. So thanks again, Scott. Wow, this is weird. What are we looking at?
These are French newspapers published by a group of artists called United Dead Artists. It's French. Some of it's X-rated, R-rated.
So this was
That's
the
nuts.
publication
Yeah,
this big.
yeah. And there are 5 issues here. So if you go to France to buy them, it looks to me like you can still. I'm going to do a bulk order next week because it looks to me like you can still order them, but I don't know what the shipping is. If they're cheaper than $20, I've
Wow.
$20.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, they blow you away. Some of the
It's
art.
like if Hieronymus Bosch decided to do like pencil work.
But I think it's 20 or 30 different artists. They're giving you the names
Yeah,
of the artists.
right. No, they're all different styles.
Yep. And he prints in silver ink. And he looks pretty awesome. I have a bunch of things by him.
Wow.
He's Japanese, I think. Number 1 and number 2.
Oh, so these are Steranko.
So
all his
Steranko
characters?
published a book called History of Comics back in 73 or 4.
Yep.
The first edition had no logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
These are extras of the first edition cover that he sold by mail. And so that's why they're folded into 4s. He would have put them in an envelope
Wow,
and shipped it to people.
that is super cool. Pretty awesome. Terrifying, but awesome.
Right?
All right, now that it's cleared out a little bit, I have some room to do some digging. Dan here, an old friend of mine, found a Sheena 3D Dave Stevens cover, which he's gifting to me. That's pretty amazing, man. Thank you so much. With the glasses.
With the glasses.
I love Dave Stevens. Awesome.
It's like I had a feeling that you might be here today. It's like it's the first nighttime show that I've ever been to.
All right, guys, as you can see, I closed the place. It is late at night. What a fantastic show. Tons of people showed up, and I had a great time talking with a lot of people that I know, and I met a lot of new people as well. It's my favorite part about going to these shows. But of course, I also ended up with a pretty big haul of comic books, some really good stuff. So let's go home and I'll show you guys everything that I got. So there you go. That was another awesome CliffCon down in Connecticut. I've spoken about this amazing show a million times on my channel. It's almost always held on the last Sunday of every single month, often at a small VFW in Plainville, Connecticut. But every once in a while, a few times a year, they have a big show where they rent out this much bigger space at this hotel. And because they have more space, they invite way more vendors from all over the Northeast, and they usually have a huge turnout. And because of that, I'm always looking forward to going. But this particular case was different because for the first time ever, they actually did it at night. Not only was it at night, it was a Friday night, Good Friday, right before Easter. And I was talking with some friends earlier in the day, and we were wondering out loud, like, do we think they're going to have a lot of people there? I knew as soon as I pulled into the parking lot that they were having a awesome turnout. In fact, I had to park across the street in the overflow lot. Fantastic turnout, guys. Tons of the usual collectors I see, as well as like whole families there. Huge props, by the way, to the guy, the man, the legend himself, Cliff, for putting on this amazing show, a family-friendly environment, and a lot of great vendors. It was a fantastic time, not only shopping for comic books, but meeting all the wonderful people, networking, being part of this community, guys. My favorite part about going to these shows. In this one, it really is second to none in that department. So I have some awesome comic books here to share with all of you. But before I do, you guys know the drill. If you like this sort of stuff and you want to support the channel, head on down, like, comment, and subscribe. By the way, those likes really, really do help. And if you're on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram under Lunch Money Comics IG. So this first comic book I want to show you was actually a gift. I said I knew a lot of people at this show, and it's not unusual that I bump into old friends and we swap comic books. You know, people know the comic books that I like. But this show was a little bit more unusual because I got a lot of things handed to me, not just from old friends, but also some new friends I made at the show. Listen, guys, people certainly don't have to give me anything, but every once in a while, people, just as a small token of gratitude for liking the content, will give me something small. And yeah, it humbles me. Absolutely. I really appreciate that, you know, people like the content and like the work I put in. You don't have to do that, but this was quite nice. But this first one was actually really special because it came from the man himself, Cliff, who ran the show. Cliff knows exactly what I like. He knows I love X-Men, and he knows I like foreign comic books. So when he tracked me down halfway through the show, he had something quite unusual for me. He had this. This is a Thai X-Men comic. I shouldn't say it's a comic. It's actually a whole bunch of comics. It's sort of like an anthology. Most of them from the early and mid-90s. Most of them featuring Jim Lee X-Men. As a matter of fact, those of you that recognize this cover, it's actually from the Jim Lee X-Men Series 1 trading cards, the Danger Room, that they actually cut into 9 different cards. That's the cover here. And yeah, and some of the stories in here, just based on the cover, I think a lot of people will recognize them. X-Men 11, kind of a famous Jim Lee cover right there. And yeah, they're exactly the same. They look exactly like the comic books I used to read in the 90s. The only difference is, of course, they're not in English, they're in Thai. Let me know down in the comments if you're from Thailand or if you speak or read Thai. I'd love to hear from you. I just think this is super cool and one of the most unique things in my collection. Cliff, you are awesome. What a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you so much. I will absolutely cherish this. One of my favorite things in my X-Men collection. So this next comic book was also a gift from a friend, but a much older friend, and one I did not expect to see at this show. I've mentioned it before on my channel, guys. I collect a lot more than comic books. I also collect primarily antiques, and I know a ton of people in the New England sort of antique scene. Well, I have a buddy named Dan who has an antique shop in Northampton, Massachusetts. I've known him for years, and we've always hit it off because we like the same kinds of antiques. Namely, we both like weird ones. We like oddities, and because of that, we've always hit it off. Well, right after I started Lunch Money Comics, I'd been really busy with the channel. I hadn't seen him in a while. I saw him in his store. He asked what I was up to. I said, just this YouTube channel about comic books. And I found out that we had a lot more in common than just weird antiques. He was a huge comic book collector. In fact, owned a comic book store a long time ago. Couldn't believe we had something else in common. In fact, I did a trade with him for some comic books. Well, I've never actually seen him at a comic book show before. I thought he was out of the hobby. Well, I ran into him at this show, and he was happy to see me because he thought I might be there, and he brought something for me. He found this comic book. He knew, based on my channel, it'd be right up my alley, and it was this. Listen, guys. Yes, this is a Dave Stevens cover. I know I've mentioned Dave Stevens a lot on my channel lately. It seems like all other YouTubers are as well. I'm happy this amazing artist is getting a lot more attention nowadays. But yeah, the comic books are really coming to light, and the prices are going up. So I have a little bit more Dave Stevens to talk about. You saw some in the footage, but I'm going to make it brief, okay? This is Jerry Iger's Sheena, Queen of the Jungle in 3D. This is by Blackthorn Comics. And although this cover is sort of iconic by Dave Stevens in regular color, the inside of this book is blue, red 3D. And you need a pair of 3D glasses. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows different, but I don't think this actually came with 3D glasses. What I think happened was they shipped these to comic book stores separately and loose like all other comic books, and then they shipped a separate bag of 3D glasses, and the store would have to give the glasses to the person who bought the book. But I've never seen this before. This actually is in a poly bag with the glasses inside. So, like I said, I found these glasses separate with the book, but not like packaged together. And this is an important distinction because if you ever grade these books, because it didn't come with the glasses inside, they don't note it on the book. You just get a regular blue label. It's not like anything's missing. So in case people are wondering, these were separate. I believe, let me know if you think anything different down in the comments. But yeah, great book, guys. I already owned one of these, but I've never gotten one with it in the bag like this. So I thought that was pretty cool. Had to show it off. Okay, pretty much right when I walked in, I saw another vendor I know named Bob. I always see him at CliffCon. He flagged me down. He had something not for me, but for my daughter. My daughter is a coloring aficionado, and she loves graphic novels and superheroes. So Bob actually had this Green Lantern animated series coloring book for my daughter. How cool is that? So I was excited to grab that. The next one's also a gift, but this is actually from me. So I was over at Brick House Comics. That was having a great sale on all, a lot of his back issues, half off those keys. He was also having a big sale that weekend down at his brick and mortar store down in Meriden, Connecticut. I couldn't make it, but I found this book. I was excited to get it for my sister. So this is X-Men #1 from 2019. This is the Jonathan Hickman run on X-Men. This is a 1/50 variant cover by Russell Dauterman. And you can see it's a whole bunch of different iterations of Jean Grey. Now, the reason I got this was because one of my little sisters loves Jean Grey. Whenever I see a cool comic book like this, I try to get it for her. And my sister always sort of returns the favor by getting me great t-shirts. She gets me t-shirts all the time. I like to show off my channel. As a matter of fact, about 10 minutes ago before I started this video, I got this in the mail. It was bought on Etsy via Europe, and it's Wagner, Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler t-shirt. How cool is that? Yeah, my sisters are always getting me great t-shirts, guys, so I like to return the favor. I got it for $7.50. Thought it was pretty cool and a beautiful cover. I'm actually kind of sad to give it up. It's great. Next up, another guy flagged me down, one I'd never met before. His name was Scott, and he was from Foreign Objects Comics. Scott flagged me down, said he was a fan of the channel, and he actually had something for me. But he also had an ulterior motive, which was the thing he had is a larger format comic book. He didn't have any magazine-sized comics, and he couldn't fit it anywhere, so we wanted to get rid of it. And it's this. I mentioned I like the X-Men and I like weird stuff, and this definitely falls into that. This is Critics' Choice File, looks at the X-Men. So this is a album size, in-depth survey of the X-Men comics covering the John Byrne years of the book, beginning with X-Men 111 to 128. So John Byrne worked with Chris Claremont on X-Men from issues 108 to 143. So this doesn't cover the entire Byrne run, but this here is very cool. This was put out by, not by Marvel, it was put out by Heroes Publishing in 1987. And basically, yeah, it's got some articles in here about John Byrne, but basically it's a summary of every single book from 111 to 128. And it has some original art in it as well, and some kind of funny things. It's just super awesome, right? It's just really, really interesting. I've never seen it before, and Scott thought it'd be something I would appreciate, which I absolutely did. So Scott, thank you so much for this. This is fantastic. However, as we were talking, I realized Scott had a lot more X-Men stuff than just this, and as we were talking about how cool this was, he's like, actually, I have something else you might like. And he found this book here. So this is the X-Men Chronicles. This is from Fantaco in 1982. Now, Fantaco was a publisher that was primarily known for, I think, horror and kind of good girl comics, but they also did 5 of these chronicles, which were for fans. You see, the magazine for X-Men fans. They did 5 of these in the 80s. We had the X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, and Spider-Man. They put one of these out. And basically, it's full of articles, history, interviews. There's checklists in here. There's satire. There's new art. In fact, you have an awesome cover here by Dave Cockrum himself. This is super cool, guys. Lots of funny, I don't know, just goofy stuff in here. I can't wait to actually start reading it. I've never seen this before. I absolutely had to have it. He had $10 on it, and after the gift, I said, of course, I'm going to pay you the $10 for this book. Very cool. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have ever seen this before or any of those other, titles that I mentioned. Just really, really awesome. And then I started looking through all of his X-Men books, and he had a box of comics that all had colors on them. I think many people see this at comic shows. The vendor will put like a little bit of a color sticker. It's an easy way to price them. Like maybe blue means $3, pink means $1, green means $5. Just a quick way to do it. He had a box full of X-Men books that were colored like this. And I found this one. Blue meant $3, and I found this comic book here. This is Uncanny X-Men number 169. It's from 1983. Of course, Chris Claremont. This is after the John Byrne run. Paul Smith did the art here. And this is the first appearance of Callisto and the Morlocks. The Morlocks are mutants that are sort of outcasts. They are usually not very good looking, and they don't have very good powers, and they are basically forced to live in exile in the sewers of New York. The Morlocks sort of show how the outside world views mutants at large. The reason I got this, I already own it, but this book here is a dark cover. It often shows a lot of spine ticks, and it is an upgrade copy for me. I am upgrading my X-Men, Claremont run whenever I can, and at $3, I couldn't say no to this book. My buddy Ben, who was with me, also got a book for $1. But there was another book in there. He had some books that weren't stickered like this. Instead, they had individual prices, and that's the case here with this one. I just mentioned X-Men 111, started off that magazine there. Here we have X-Men number 111 from 1978. Of course, this is Claremont, Byrne, Cockrum, and Austin, sort of the holy quadrinity of X-Men comics in my mind. And this is the first of a 3-part storyline. Now, of all the books I had in my Chris Claremont run to upgrade, the worst condition one I had was 111. I got this book really cheap. It was falling apart. I just wanted to get it in the run and finish it, knowing I'd have to upgrade it. It was prime target number 1. So I needed to upgrade, and this is a beautiful, beautiful copy. And you see all the X-Men here. They're all like sort of in a circus sideshow acts. And come to find out, the reason that they're all sort of acting like this is that they're being mind controlled by Mesmero, who is an X-Men villain that first premiered in X-Men number 49. End of this story, you find out another character is pulling all the strings. Magneto himself shows up on the last page. So very cool comic book, guys. Very happy to upgrade this. You see it was $25. However, $25, $3, Ben's was $1. Scott sold all 3 of those to me for $20. What a guy. So you're already a fantastic person, Scott, for giving me the free stuff. But thank you for coming down on these. What a great, great thing, guys. Very happy to get those. The last comic book I got, guys, you saw I pretty much got it right when I walked in. I bumped into a guy named Mark, and he actually wanted to talk to me about a couple of things. He knows I do flea markets in New England. Well, he's starting one in Eastern Connecticut, not too far from Mohegan Sun, home of Terrificon, one of the best comic book shows on the East Coast. So he's starting a flea market, and he was also thinking of starting a YouTube channel. I might reach out for some pointers and stuff. Super cool conversation. But while I was talking with him, I looked on his wall and he had a book I've been eyeing for a long time. And yeah, guys, you might be surprised that this was a book that I'd be that interested in. But here it is. So this is the New Mutants 87. And of course, this is the first appearance of Cable. We have an awesome cover here done by Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. Rob Liefeld did the interior pencils. Here's the thing, guys. This book can go for a little bit of money, and I don't like spending a lot of money on 90s books. I grew up in the 90s. This is right before the comic boom and burst. I just have a hard time stomaching books like this or, you know, New Mutants 98, first Deadpool. It's just weird to me, right? So I've always been okay having the second print of this book, which is the gold background instead of the red. I was fine with it, kind of. A part of me, I'm looking at my X-Men books right here on this wall. I can see that gold cover of all my first appearance. I see that gold Cable, and it kills me. And I knew I would need to upgrade this at some point and get the first print. If the price was right, Mark had $150 on this. I asked him how much, you know, what's the best he could do? He said $80. I know this book has come down, guys, but that's a great price for this book, especially in the condition it's in. I would say conservatively, this is a 9.4. There's no color breaks on this whatsoever. There's like one non-color breaking tick. Realistically, it's probably a 9.6. I could hold out hope for higher, but I'm not really looking to grade this anytime soon. I'm just happy to have a high grade copy that I got at a great price in my opinion. So $80, absolutely. Mark, thank you so much for this, and I'm absolutely looking forward to any flea markets you come up with. I will be there. You know I love them, and certainly I will look forward to your YouTube channel. I'll definitely plug it if you ever do one. Pretty awesome pickup there. So there you go, guys. This is everything I got at the big nighttime CliffCon show. All told, I spent a grand total of $137. I'm still trying to collect on a budget, trying to go back to my lunch money roots after some pretty big purchases recently. I think I did pretty good, but let me know down in the comments which of my pickups you like the best and do you think I paid a good price. Obviously, I have some fantastic books in here that were gifts from people and some really cool, unique, awesome stuff that I'm happy to add to my collection that you don't often see. So a huge shout out to all the people that, of course, you know, gave me some stuff. You certainly didn't have to do that. But also a huge shout out to all the people I met at the show. I met a lot of new people, had some great conversations. It's absolutely my favorite part about going to these Comic Cons, guys, talking with people, feeling like you're a part of the community and the hobby, and I had a fantastic time. And that's what it's all about. Like I said, if you're in the Northeastern United States, definitely you should try to make one of these CliffCons. They're awesome. I'll put some links down in my description, so maybe you can make it to the next one. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places as well. Always support your local comic book shows, and I'll see you in the next video, or maybe even at the next show.